Okay, this is an audio, and I needed video to get it onto YouTube because you can't just do audio. This is between me and my attorney in Washington. I have court in Washington tomorrow. They're trying to throw me back in jail and have me extradited up to Washington because I did not pay Nevada's traffic fine fast enough. Anyway, here's the call between me and my attorney. With that, but I have memory gap.
I understand what you're doing, and so I'll try not to swear.
No, I'm gonna fucking swear. So you be you, I'll be me, and let's just try not to judge each other.
Yeah, I'm not worried about what you do. I'm just trying to control myself, be all professional and all that.
Respect,
right?
sir. Respect, sir.
All right. So, which do you want to hear? The good news or the bad news first?
Oh, well, they're both the same. I don't care. Just give me the news.
All right. Well, the prosecutor made a new offer on your case, and I have to tell you about that. Doesn't mean that you have to.
I've already refused it, but please continue.
No, it's a different offer.
No, I've already told you what I'm gonna do, but I'd like to hear it anyway.
Yeah, I understand that. Hold on a second.
Speaker battery got low. I just adore the fact that Judge Collier was so scared that he's willing to be a victim the second time. I'm a little remiss that we had to put it on hold so he could continue with his Hawaiian vacation.
Well, all right. So this is the email I got from the prosecutor. It says that he spoke to the victim yesterday. I received this Wednesday. Spoke to the victim yesterday. We would be willing to offer a gross misdemeanor on the following conditions. Here are what the conditions are. That you plead an in re bar plea of DV violations. DV?
Yeah, they want my gun rights. And that would take my gun rights. But anyway, go ahead.
DV violation of a no contact order, workplace, which would result in, also 5 years of no contact order with Scott Collier.
I gotta give a shit.
All suspended jail time, basically credit for time served.
I've done 582 days on a sentence, 90 days.
You've already done. I know that. And I got to tell you what's in the offer. And 2 years of probation.
They can suck my ass.
Well, I figured you might say that.
Yeah.
So the prosecutor, when I told him that you had made your position clear to me before, but I told him, I will pass this along because I have to. I said, I anticipate that my client will turn it down, and I told him why. The reasons that you told me, that you feel like they have taken everything from you before, so you're not going to stand for it again.
Yep.
So.
And here's the deal. We need to put in, I don't know if it needs to be a 1077, but we need to put in for a full forensic psychiatric evaluation. I have countless amounts of evidence to present. I got to tell you that I was evaluated. I had 2 different psychiatric evaluations, one on the 24th. So the VA down here has fucked me over like you wouldn't believe. And they revoked all of my prior diagnosis and diagnosed me with an antisocial personality disorder, which anyway, so not a good thing, right? And then they sent me to community care, right, because to get me out of the VA, and they sent me over with just my VA records to somebody that works like Safer Legacy in your mind, right? And he diagnosed me. He confirmed their antisocial personality disorder. I mean, the whole thing was bullshit anyway. And then they called me up and started screaming at me saying that they're canceling my Monday appointment where they were supposed to explain their diagnosis and that they're severing further service with me. So then I called the VA and got hooked up with a VA psychiatrist, this time video, which means you can get any idiot anywhere in the nation. And the dude no-showed me. And then I called the VA and chewed them out for that. And then they rescheduled it for like a month later. And I said, bullshit. I've already waited 6 months for this evaluation. I'm not waiting another month. I need it now. So then they scheduled it for the following day. He still showed up 10 minutes late. Didn't know what the fuck I recorded the whole thing. Put it on my YouTube channel. He told me why I couldn't have an antisocial personality disorder. And then at the end of it, I said, well, aren't you supposed to diagnose me with something? And he goes, yeah, you're narcissistic. I said, well, good for us. It's a really interesting video to watch. You should watch it. But yeah, this is all interesting. But we need to order up a full forensic psychiatric evaluation.
All right, you want a new 1077 order?
Well, they certainly don't need to send me upstate, but what I'm going to tell you is the state of Washington's evaluated me no less than 5 times, so they don't even need a crack at me. We just need our defense put in place, and then they can take their prior reports and come in and try to refute us, but they're just going to look like idiots and fucking assholes. But yeah, I need one on my side.
Okay, have you got an expert down in Nevada, where you are, that could do an evaluation that you know of?
So no, not that I know of. I need them not.
Who evaluated you before? The VA told you get the hell out?
Yeah.
Or who told you not to come back anymore?
Okay, so down here there's two major medical systems, sort of like OHSU and Legacy there. There is Renown and St. Mary's. So they sent me to Renown, and because the last 15 minutes of it when he was refusing me my medication, I said I'm going to record this. I recorded the last 15 minutes of that doctor's appointment, and when his supervisor found out, she called me up and started freaking the fuck out on me, saying that she was canceling all services, that I'm not to come back. And the guy that I had a really good conversation with, then all of a sudden it just turned into, I agree with the VA. And
so who was this that was down there?
that was Renown. I can give you a copy of the evaluation.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to need that because I'm going to need release of information to get everything from them. Just because they're saying that it's no longer valid, that's bullshit. We should be able to get a copy of that.
Well, no, I don't know what you're referring to. What I'm saying is this is a new evaluation. So what I'm going to do, we don't even need to discuss this. Go ahead and just put in for the funds to get this evaluation. I don't think the state has the right to evaluate me again. They've already evaluated me countless times.
I'm not. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not. We don't necessarily need to go 1077 route. I can have you evaluated for my own purposes.
Yeah. However you want to do it. So listen.
So
back when it was
my boss will put in for money.
Okay.
For that.
Back when it was Vancouver Public Defender, the Jeffrey Barrar case, I think I had shit. What's the geeky looking guy? Neil who? Come, you know this guy. Neil Anderson.
No.
Neil Anderson was my attorney then, and then I also had Scott Bogar and Lisa Harris. Not Lisa Harris. Shit. Lisa.
You had for the trial. You had Marina.
No, this is something different. So the first time that I was in front of Collier, all three of these attorneys went in together on a 1077 to have me evaluated, so it was going to be used in my defense in all of their cases. We need to get a hold of, does Jeffrey Barrar's office exist anymore?
I don't know.
Anyway, so my prior attorneys have all sorts of records, and it will save us so much time just to get the documentation that these prior attorneys have on us, and that would include Scott Bogar. I don't remember his Neil Anderson, and Lisa somebody. She has bow legs, does a lot of work out of Battleground, and I think she was running.
Lisa Toth?
There you go, Lisa Toth.
Okay.
So all three of them are intimately familiar with me, and I think Scott Bogar will tell you that he fucking hates me. Neil Anderson will tell you that I'm absolutely crazy, and I think Lisa Toth will just go, "Aw, isn't it sad?"
Okay.
But anyway, I was just saying, I'll sign any ROIs you need on anything. I've already got a hold of the Social Security Administration because I've been receiving SSDI since 2021. I was approved while I was in jail over this matter. It's a rather high bar to reach to get Social Security disability for a mental disorder. So honestly, I don't care what they say I have. They all say I have something except for the VA, right? And I can tell you that I've never harmed anybody. I've never stolen anything. I've never committed a crime of dishonesty or violence. I've been wronged throughout this entire process, and I can prove it. And I can tell you that I intentionally got myself arrested so I could be housed in a jail. I used Scott Collier because
because you figured he would be the one person that would get a response.
He would be the one. Well, no, I threatened the judge and I threatened the governor because both of them would have to testify against me. Judge Collier knew of my condition and actively participated in my persecution, and Governor Jay Inslee ran on a mental health platform. So to allow me to be persecuted for this period of time, when I've driven up personally to the governor's office no less than 2 times, and I've been dealing with his fucking state police division. So they did, when they arrested me on the Scott Collier thing, they did arrest me for threatening Governor Inslee. But during arraignment, they dropped those charges immediately because they knew that everything I was doing was attention seeking. And they did not want to give me the attention of the sitting governor.
Okay.
So I don't know why I just started telling you that. So I contend with Tourette syndrome and a dissociative personality disorder. I have 3 different personalities. 2 are prominent. Mark is my legal name, and AJ, it would be a separate personality, same vassal, if you will. If I, on my day-to-day life, if I'm doing well, I'm a blend between the 2, right? And I can remember everything. When I'm not doing well, because AJ is a trauma response, right? So you fuck Mark up, you're gonna get AJ. And if we go slamming real fucking hard AJ, Mark doesn't know what the fuck is going on at all. Does that make sense? That's why I record things. So I didn't know what was going on with you, and I wouldn't remember our conversation, and that's why I recorded it. Because I'm all sorts of fucking jacked off about this eviction hearing tomorrow. I know for a fact in my heart of hearts that I'm going to win, but I've seen corruption so deep that I can just see them representing corporate interests. But in this case, it's a failure of the VA, it's the failure of the housing authority, and it's the failure of the for-profit housing mill that I'm being evicted. It's not a failure on my part. And they have cameras everywhere, and they were giving me noise complaints because the microphones outside of my apartment were detecting dogs barking. They said that I had too many people that came to my door this month. Dude, it's the craziest shit. This is like a test 15-minute city, if you know what that is. But nonetheless, we got more surveillance going on in this government housing than the Chinese government, in their fucking Uyghur camps. It's crazy. I live on 4th Street, which is the main, drug and prostitution drag, through Reno and Sparks. I got a letter in there, because this discovery was 1 inch thick. There was a letter from the Sparks police to my apartment manager. It said, "For your collection, smiley face." And it said that I had 4 homeless people that were staying in my apartment. And I called an ambulance because one of them fell. And then when he refused medical service, I had him criminally trespassed to get him out because he wasn't going to die on my watch. But the interesting thing about that is Sparks PD actively colluding with this corporation that is milling out, housing to the impoverished, saying for your collection, and then evidently they are monitoring and surveilling us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not only video but audio.
Okay.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound right to me.
No, that was just the end of my story. So I'm going to go in there tomorrow and say, hey, they hit me with 70 complaints within like a month and a half period. I called each time saying, hey, I'd like to discuss what's going on. I'd like to watch the video with you and explain the situation. They never called me back. I have a HUD-VASH case manager that's supposed to mediate between us if there's ever any issues. She's never dealt with me on this, and they're also supposed to go through the housing authority. All of those organizations are charged with housing homeless veterans, and then once housed, making sure that they're successful in their housing, right? All of us in this community was originally homeless vets. Now they're bringing in all sorts of anything. But all of us are here for a reason. We're either drug addicted or we're mentally ill. That's why we were homeless, right? Just because you put us in a box doesn't mean those problems go away. And then, if you sit here and you try to persecute people for those problems, like they called the cops on a schizophrenic woman for talking to herself around a playground. Well, I'm sorry, that's what schizophrenic people do. This is where she lives, and we're not going to persecute her for having this condition. She has to be safe somewhere. I'm sorry that it's uncomfortable for you to watch, but that's not grounds to throw her out of her home. Well, the same holds true with me.
Okay.
Just saying. So we'll see how it plays. But what I can tell you is, I got court with you at 9. I got court with them at 10.
Yeah. Well, you can't be in two different states within an hour of each other.
No, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Travis drive. I'm going to fire up a hotspot on my phone, and I'm going to sit in the back seat and do Zoom on my laptop.
Okay, well, I don't know if the court's going to take that or not. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to ask that we continue this matter, and is there a place that you can fill out a waiver of presence so that you can sign it and return it to me so I can get it to the court?
Probably not at this hour. I can go. I think the courthouse here opens up at 8 a.m. I can go to the courthouse here and ask them if they'll help facilitate that.
Okay. So, do you have an email address that you can give me that I can send it to?
My email address is hensleymark1106@gmail.com.
hensleymark1106@gmail.
Yeah. So last name, first name, date of birth. So clearly I'm not hiding anything. I'm a guy that tells the truth, whether they like it or not.
I'm not saying you're hiding.
No, I'm just pointing out the obvious.
I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Now, the prosecutor has filed what's called a a supervised release violation. They're saying...
Yeah, that's fine.
No, it's not fine. And the problem with it is they put it on the docket for tomorrow as well, which would be asking the judge to bring you back into custody.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea why they're playing the game so hard. I've already served 582 days out of a 90-day sentence. They're offered me a plea bargain that if I plead guilty, they wouldn't be asking for my incarceration or not. These are strong-arm tactics, and they need to be pointed out to the judge that they're trying to strong-arm me, and I don't appreciate it.
I got you. So, but my point in telling you this is they are going to try. Now, I talked to the prosecutor, and he's not going to object to continuing the matter and resetting the status conference date, resetting the supervised release violation, so that you're not in violation for not making it. And I'll explain that you're in hearings down there as well regarding your home and eviction. And
I would prefer that not brought up. Say, as Your Honor
okay,
is.
well, I'm saying that you
Just do me a favor. Hear me. Hey, Your Honor, as you're aware, Mr. Hensley has legal issues that he's contending with down in his hometown as well. And he had a 9 a.m. or a 10 a.m. hearing, and I felt that we might not be done in time. So we're asking for a continuance.
That's fine.
Yeah, legal issues, not eviction.
I hear what you're saying. You don't want to say eviction. That's fine.
No, because now I'm a menace to this society, right?
No. Well, the prosecutor says that he's receiving phone calls all the damn time related to you and guns and things like this.
Yeah.
Saying that you're trying to buy guns and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Now, as he has pointed out to me, that if you were to take this offer, and I'm not telling you,
I would lose my gun rights.
Well, for 5 years, but you'd be able to get them back.
Bullshit. On a DV?
So, anyhow.
Hey, listen. Hey, can I tell you something? I've never lived with Scott Collier, and the only one that's ever had sex was him fucking me, right?
I understand what you're saying.
There is absolutely no way this qualifies for a DV.
Well, that's what their offer is. And that's why the in-ray bar is a way to plead, for people to plead to something they didn't actually do rather than pleading to something else.
Yeah, that's what they do to me all the time. They're like, hey, we know that you didn't do this, so just play the game, take an Alford plea, right? And now you've got some in-ray fucking what? What is this thing called?
In-ray bar.
How is that different than an Alford or a Newman? These are all things they try to push down my throat.
And you know what? You don't have to take it.
No, I want you to explain to me how an in-ray bra is different than an Alford or different than a Newman.
Yep, I will.
Thank you.
An in-ray bar plea is pleading guilty to something other than what you are charged with, saying that, you realize you're pleading guilty to a different crime, something you did not do, and you wish the court to accept that plea. Now, an Alford plea is pleading guilty to something you are charged with, saying that you don't believe that you are guilty, but you are pleading guilty only to get the plea bargain because you think if you went to trial you might get something worse. You think that a jury could believe the state's evidence and you don't want to risk getting worse, therefore you take the Alford plea. A Newton plea is essentially saying, I was too drunk or too high to know, I don't remember, so I'm going to plead guilty again because I don't want to go to trial and get worse than what the offer is.
So
the Alford plea and the Newton plea are pleading guilty to something that you are charged with that you supposedly had done.
Yeah.
An in-ray bar plea is pleading guilty to something that you weren't originally charged with that you did not do, but as a part of a plea bargain. Like, now I don't know why somebody would do this, but let's say somebody was charged with assault second degree, but then they pled guilty to DUI.
Yeah.
They weren't even in a car.
No, I understand.
They do that.
I understand.
They might do that.
Can I tell you something? Out of Battleground, I was I was declared incompetent by Judge Collier and Judge Bennett at the time. Right? They got me on the driving while suspended, and that was more of a misunderstanding because I got a DUI in 2012. Right? But anyway, I was already ordered up to Western by both Judge Bennett and Judge Collier, and I was called in, and Lisa Toth was representing me on those matters that had me sent up to Western. And then the judge said, we also have a new matter. How do you want to handle that? And I said, I'm going to represent myself. Now keep in mind, I'm already incompetent. And he allowed me to represent myself, and I went back with the prosecutor. I said, I know this is bullshit. You know this is bullshit, but you just want the money. So come up with a charge where you hit me with a fine, you get what you want, but I don't want any moving fucking violations because I'm not going to have my insurance rates go up over this. So it's on my criminal record, leaving a motor vehicle running while unattended. That is on my criminal record. I successfully negotiated that. The judge had me plead guilty to it, ordered me to pay a fine, and then declared me incompetent again and ordered me restored. I have no idea how I can be a competent attorney representing myself, pleading guilty to something that I didn't do, and a judge ordering an arbitrary fine, and then declared incompetent again at the convenience of the courts, because this is nothing but a fucking money game. This is ridiculous.
Well, I would tend to agree with you that plea should not have been entered and accepted by the court.
Okay, that being said, I need you to take note with my criminal record, because all of this needs to be scrutinized. This is all corruption that they're forcing on me. I need you to see how many times I've been offered either a Newton, an Alfred, or now this is a new one, because they know that I haven't done any of these crimes. So they're like, hey, you don't have to say you did it. You just have to play ball. Just play ball. And that's what's going on right now with Collier.
Well,
hey, just have him play ball. No, I know it happens. But here's the deal. They've absolutely ruined my life over this, right? They took my children, they took my farm, they took my career, they took everything, and they won't fucking stop. So now they're pissed off that I'm calling the local police, telling them that, hey, during the day of my trial, I'm going to kill as many fucking police officers as possible. And they're like, well, when's your trial? I was like, I don't know. It keeps on getting put out, but unless I give you a fucking date, you won't take this serious. I keep on telling them, hey, I don't have any fucking weapons here or yet, but I have full intent on getting them, and I have access to an arsenal. So I'll tell you what, let's just play this by ear. Don't fuck with me and I won't fuck with you. So Sparks PD and I are way cool, right? If I go into Reno, I get fucked up. That's where Reno pulled me over for handing donuts out to the homeless. He didn't have to arrest me for a revoked fucking driver's license. He decided to do that. And then when I was in jail because I got the donuts in Sparks, the Sparks prosecutor hates me so fucking bad that she ad booked a trespass at Krispy Kreme onto me without consulting the victim first. Krispy Kreme gave me the donuts, so there was no crime. So, she didn't know what to do. So then the following day, I got ad booked for trespassing at my credit union because my credit union is discriminating against me because I'm disabled. So now I did 5 days in jail. The prosecutor didn't consult the credit union, right? So now I did 5 days in jail because the credit union openly discriminates against the disabled, and they're gonna have to come testify to that. I don't know if they're gonna want to do that. But those are my 2 violations that I have to answer to for the supervised release. And basically I'm being persecuted, and Krispy Kreme, which is what I was originally accused of doing, was not a victim at all. And what happened 2 weeks prior at the bank was never an issue. I just left and went home. I had to bank somewhere else that day. Wasn't a big deal, but there was a police response and the prosecutor knew about it. And with a 98% plea bargain rate, she fucking came at me again. I'm going to have her fucking disbarred. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I gotta tell you, I didn't follow all of that, but what you're telling, I understand what you're saying is that you haven't done anything to anybody but hand out donuts.
Yeah.
And I got it, that you have a problem with your credit union, and I got that the prosecuting attorney, one of the prosecuting attorneys down there, despite the fact that Krispy Kreme gave you donuts, they threw in a trespass, a no contact trespass from Krispy Kreme without Krispy Kreme wanting it.
So Reno and Sparks are conjoined cities, or sister cities, and as I said, I live on Prostitute Row. It's Prater when it's in Sparks, and that same road 2 blocks from my house turns into 4th Street, and that's Reno. The homeless shelter is on 4th Street, so down in Reno. And I go to Krispy Kreme, and they set out somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50 dozen donuts sealed in boxes. And I take those and I either drive around and I hand them out to the homeless, or I take them to the shelter and just drop them off. So I was handing them out to the homeless, and the cops pulled me over because they wanted to know what the fuck I was doing. There was no probable cause. And then lo and behold, my license was revoked out of Washington because I got into a traffic accident prior to my incarceration down here in Reno. And while I was incarcerated, they did not take me to traffic court, found me guilty in my absence, and then ordered me to pay a $450 fine within a 4-month period. I was incarcerated for 6 months. So I was found guilty and absent to a crime that I didn't do. I was fined. And then because I didn't pay it in a time frame in which they specified, because they had me incarcerated, they asked Washington State to revoke my license. When I got out, not only did I pay that fine immediately, I paid a hefty fine or fee for, the late fee, right? It went into collections and all sorts of shit like that. But that doesn't reinstate my license. I then have to, travel back up to Washington and give them $130 to have my license reinstated. So it's not like I did anything, to have my driving rights removed, because it's a right. It's not a fucking privilege. They just, found me guilty of a crime that I didn't do, ordered me to pay money that I didn't have or the ability to pay in a time that they wouldn't allow me to pay it. And then they penalized me into a fashion that even when I do pay their extorted money, they still leave me in a handicapped state where Reno PD hates me so fucking bad that even though they sure as fuck wouldn't arrest any tourists for this, but they know who Mark Hensley is. They know who Mark Hensley is. They decided to make a discretionary arrest. I was having Tourette's outbursts the entire time, right? I was extremely cordial. The entire thing's not only recorded on my phone, but on their body cam, right? They're telling me that they know I have Tourette's and everybody knows I have Tourette's and it's okay. I go to the jail. I'm still having outbursts, and then I'm going to try to keep this real short. They fucked with me because of my Tourette's, and then put me in fucking handcuffs while they were fucking with me, and then I had a seizure. They didn't support me. I fell flat on my fucking face, busted up my lip and my head, and then they told me it was my fault and threw me in the hole for fucking 5 days. And then told me that, I'm here because Krispy Kreme wants me prosecuted for stealing their donuts. And then when that wasn't true, they said, oh, this Sunday when the bank was closed, we did an ad book because your bank wants you prosecuted for recording your private information behind a closed door with your private consultant at a club that you're a paying member of. It's not a bank, sir. It's a motherfucking credit union. And I was consulting with my private consultant in an office, in a membership at a club that I pay for behind closed doors. And because I was recording myself listening to her, right? I have to do 5 days in jail?
Well, I don't know what the laws are down there about recording, so...
I had her consent. I had her consent.
Oh, well, then I don't know what the issue is, why they would do that.
Yeah, but you know what they're going to do? They're going to do what they always fucking do. They just drop the charges, right? They can do fucking anything they want to me. They can kick my ass, literally, throw me in a fucking box for 68 fucking days, and then go, just go home. They've done that to me countless times. That 68 days was when they literally kicked the shit out of me and threw me in a fucking box, telling me that some other woman now gets my home. And when I wouldn't accept any plea bargains, they just dropped the charges and said, never mind, just go home. No, zero recourse, right? They operate with fucking impunity. Anyway, thank you for tolerating me. I'm getting animated at this point. I want you to know that I'm so far into my journey right now that I will be able to maintain my composure. And I'm not even mad about this stuff anymore, right? I just want to have the ability to
understand
explain
that,
it.
but I get you on that. I understand you want your day in court so that everybody can hear your side of the story, which you're saying you haven't really been given ample opportunity to tell.
Ever. So this goes all the way back to 2015, and Judge Collier was, the judge overseeing the proceedings at that point. I'm going to make this as much of a pageant as they're willing to allow. I want you to know that.
Okay. Well, for tomorrow, I'm going to try to continue the case without you needing to be present here. But the court, the order of this is a court day, so I don't think the prosecutor.
Can I say something? I would prefer to be present for you asking for the continuance. You can say Mr. Hensley's here. He's in the backseat of a car. He's got another proceeding getting ready to go down. He didn't want to disrespect the court, so he's here. He was unaware of this, meaning the time of this. He didn't know of the conflict. But Washington State has precedence over this civil action.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I want to make sure I understand you. Are you saying you're going to be in Clark County tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.?
No, this needs to be Zoom.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That I'm going to ask that, so that you are. I'm going to ask that the case be moved with you on Zoom, so that you're not physically present.
But I am there. Yes, just like last time, and the judge told me this could be on Zoom. So last time we had this Zoom hearing, the judge said this could be a Zoom hearing. So we're not doing anything out of the ordinary, and I'm just going to be in the backseat of a limousine instead of in my house.
However, with the added bit about the damn supervised release thing, that may throw a monkey wrench into this. But no, I'm not going to do it without you being present on Zoom.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying that I'm going to do it without you even knowing. I'm saying I want to make sure that you're on Zoom, and I'm going to ask the court to accept that, then not require you to be there in person, because again, as you stated, it had been contemplated that you would not have to come up here until the trial.
Correct. That's why he set up this pre-trial prior to the May trial. Now, the thing that needs to be explained, if this is the case, we need to try to coordinate this. You're going to need to send me the Zoom link, is what I'm saying. But anyway, you need to let them know, in case I can't sign in, that I'm trying to do this going mobile. I'm going to be in the backseat of the car, Lincoln lawyer style, on the way to a different courthouse.
I understand. Understood.
Rock on. All right, sir.
So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask for a continuance, including a continuance regarding the supervised release violation.
Okay.
Because you haven't been convicted of any of those things, right?
No, I have not. And they can consult my attorney. And I have not done them, and I emphatically stand behind that.
Well, I'm not saying that you even did the stuff. I'm saying that you haven't pled guilty, you haven't been found guilty. There is nothing there stating you did anything wrong other than the simple fact that they arrested you.
Correct.
And that should not be enough to revoke your release, because
that is not an unusual occurrence in Mr. Hensley's life, and the court is aware of that.
Yeah. And you get arrested and then let go
countless times. The Clark County prosecutor is aware of it, because ask the prosecutor how many charges they've levied against me and how many convictions they have. Ask them that publicly in front of the fucking judge, because it's a fucking farce. With a batting average like that, they shouldn't be put on the bench. They should be brought into the bleachers and stoned to death.
Well, I'm not going to advocate that. But let's see what I can do. I may call you early in the morning, okay?
Yes, sir. I would appreciate it if you would, and just say, hey, the link's there, because I got to tell you something. I'm off my fucking rocker right now, and I'm like a fucking Forrest Gump box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, dude. You might call me, and I might spend the entire time yelling, fuck you, go kill yourself.
Well, I'd appreciate it if you did.
Hey, so would I, but can I tell you something? The government pays me for fucking being retarded, so it's a profitable thing to do.
Okay.
All right. But you have a good day, sir.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. tomorrow morning.
Thank you kindly. All right, bye now. So, that's Mr. Ramsdale. I don't remember his first name. He is my attorney on this retrial that's taking place in Washington. I've was found guilty and served the entire sentence. The state lost the conviction on an appeal, and even though you're presumed innocent until I'm guilty, and I've already been found guilty and served the entire sentence, I'm now being hit with the punitive measures like it's a new crime again. They have me on supervised release, and they want me reincarcerated. They want to spend thousands of dollars to extradite me back up to Washington because I didn't pay a Nevada fine in time and was handing out food to the homeless. This is utterly ridiculous.